Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Performance Cafe. It is great to have you here with us today, and we've been talking about all things related to personal development. I'm still trying to keep us going on all those things that we said we were going to do in our New Year's resolutions about, developing ourselves and taking better care of ourselves in the new year. So today I want to talk about something that I think is actually part of the problem with personal development. And that is that very often we have great intent to do it. And we plan to do it and we're going to do it and we know we should do it. And then it fizzles and dies. Because as they say, a goal without a plan is just a dream and the dream just fizzles away. So let's see, how do we go about creating not just a plan, but actually getting it right? So I think the first thing for me is that, and this we learn in coaching. I mean, as a coach, I know that sometimes I've spent almost half a coaching session just trying to help the client really get clear about what their goal is. The reason is that goals can be kind of fluffy or amorphous. We could think the goal is one thing, but actually the goal is another. So for example, I say my goal is that I want to lose weight. Is it because I want to look better? Is it because I want to feel better? Is it because I have a health issue? What's behind it? It's kind of like very good when we start with goals to ask 5 times why. I want to lose weight. Why? Because I want to feel better. Why? Like a child would do to you and irritate you, but really get down to a really good understanding of what that goal is, why it is important to you. So what's the purpose of that? And then what does success look like? I want to lose weight. Doesn't help anything. If you're a bodybuilder and you stop doing weights, you're going to lose weight, but you're going to be losing muscle weight. You're going to be terrible. So for that reason, we have to get very clear on the objective. When we're clear on that objective, the next thing that we need to do is break down that objective into smaller goals and manageable tasks. Because saying that I want to lose weight, well, that's a thing that could take a year and could involve quite a couple of kilograms, right? But what if I knew that I had to lose a certain amount of body fat weight? If I had to increase my water intake? If I knew that in order to do this, I needed to eat a certain amount of food, drink a certain amount of water, and slowly lose the weight, instead of thinking of all the weight I want to lose by the end of the year and getting really frustrated because there's only marginal movement or no movement at all. When we know is that when you lose weight, often marginal movement is the best way to do it. And you see, this is a very important part of the whole idea behind personal development. I can say by the end of the year, I want to have gotten a really good understanding of how remote working works best in corporates. What does that mean? What's a corporate? What's remote work? How much remote work? Is it hybrid work? Is it distributed teams entirely? Is there an office? Is there not? So we've got to understand, what is this thing that we really want to battle? And that's where coaches help, because we know to ask the right question to set up the right framework and then ensure that the goal we're chasing is related to the success that you want to achieve with it. Then next, building a support system. So I know what my goal is. I know what I need to do, but no man is an island. And no matter what your goal is for personal development, at some point in time, it's going to get difficult. You're going to get stuck. There's going to be a time management issue, whatever the case may be. And so having people around you to support you is really important. So, for example, if you've got a goal and you have a mentor and you have regular check-ins with your mentor, then you already are going to have a support in that, I have to be accountable to my mentor. So therefore, they are part of the support system. Of course, they also can give advice on when things go wrong or when I get stuck. The other place that we see this is with accountability partners, and that's how we do it in coaching. Is in coaching, after we've described or helped the person describe their goal and what success looks like and how to break that into smaller achievable chunks, then we go about saying, right, from this session to the following session, what do you plan to achieve? And you set those accountability parameters. But we go and make sure when we come back into the next session to say, you said you were going to do this. Did you get it done? If you didn't get it done, why didn't you get it done? What was tough about it? Do you see that same obstacle coming up again? Do you see that same situation causing difficulties again? How do we plan around it? And then general support, whether it be friends that are there and are keen to help you grow. For example, if you're going to take up cycling or running, do you have someone who on Saturdays and Sundays will drive the car behind you and make sure that you're safe, will make sure that, they've got enough water on board so that when you stop, you can, they can give you some water. It's really great for us to have that kind of support from people. Another example, of course, is I have spoken recently to a single mom who is studying and saying, oh, I need help. I need help to make sure that someone is with my child while I'm at class. I need help because my child is young and I need to make sure that there's 2 or 3 hours over a weekend where I can sit and catch up on my studies, because that's when I'm not with my child and I'm not at work. And so these are all ways that you need to secure this little plan and make sure that you're setting up not just the plan for success, but that you're creating like a good ecosystem for it. Then number 3, we've got the plan, we've got the ecosystem. Now we've got to adjust. We've got to develop resilience. And what happens is no one starts off any challenge. No one starts off any self-development goal and thinks, oh, I'm going to get through this quick fix and it's not going to be a problem. If that was the case, it wouldn't really be a goal, right? It would need to be this big thing that we need to plan around. So what we need to do in the third part is, once we start on this path, we must learn to adjust. We must develop resilience. We must learn how to fight back when things go wrong, and sometimes even turn setbacks into opportunities for growth. Now, we saw people doing that quite effectively during COVID, where the setback of not being able to go to work, the setback of my service no longer being necessary, companies actually swapped to a different service for that time so that they could produce sanitizers and masks in order to keep the supply that's necessary for COVID going, and at the same time not losing their entire business. And again, this is a place where coaching can help, because you see, when you go to a coach and your resilience is low and your setbacks are getting to you, no coach judges you, but they are there to help you rethink how you're going to put this back together again. And so their coaching, again, is an excellent tool to use for personal development. And then lastly, sort of touched on it already, but time management. So we need not only the goal and our milestones, but we need to actually plan our time as well for this, because what's going to happen is it's going to have to fit in with real life. And we know that real life can become really real. And so it's difficult to just assume I'll get to it, or for example, one of the problems we have is, oh, I can't get it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Can't get it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Can't get to it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And when we see again, it's 2 or 3 weeks worth of tomorrows. Again, if you don't have a coach or a friend, someone holding you accountable, then that's how months slip past with nothing happening. And also, a coach can help you overcome some time constraints, help you see when is the best time for you to learn, when is the best time for you to do particular activities, whatever the case may be. I know I recently sat about a week and a half ago with a coaching client who's saying, I've got so much to learn, I've got so much to do, I don't know how to fit it in. And we took the learning activities and looked at her time, the time frame for her in a week, and said, which of these learning activities are in what channel and what format, and how can you fit them in according to your schedule and what it allows. So in closing, I think the importance for me is, don't let the dream die at the door. Get that plan, get your goals sorted, get your milestones, find out the time constraints that you have, work around those, build support structures around you, whether people or systems and processes, to ensure that you've set up this little ecosystem for success and that you meet the milestone that you've set for yourself and the goals that you've set for yourself in a very productive way without losing the impetus along the way. And remember that support structure, someone else, a coach, a boss, a mentor, make sure that you have those in order to ensure that you can stay the course. If you've liked this episode, I invite you to come and watch us next week when we do the last episode on personal development. Of course, these videos are featured on YouTube. You can find them on LinkedIn, Facebook, and all of the social media sources. We also convert these into articles that we place on our blog at performforward.com. If ever you've got any questions or if there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please feel free to go over to your social media channel of choice and leave a message for us there, and we will see what we can do about getting to that for you. And then it's back to me and my cup of coffee. I hope you have a great week planning all of that personal development you've been thinking about.